Project DIG allows us to expand our research. Using new technology is one of the coolest things that paleontology can do. We go and we get these amazing fossils out of the ground, but there's things you can do to them that we can't do with our own eyes. We can see through them with an X-ray. So new technologies like this are absolutely amazing, and they completely revolutionize our science. And then being able to actually show the public what's inside that fossil for the first time ever in 100 million years, nothing beats that.
So for the photogrammetry or 3D modeling of the polycotyloid plesiosaur, I had to travel to the Kronosaurus Corner Museum where the original is on display. Then I had to take about 500 or 600 images of the whole skeleton from different angles. And then I can feed that into a photogrammetry software that looks at individual pixels in the pictures and stitch it together to a 3D model. Once I've constructed a 3D model, I can use that to study the specimen remotely, so without having to go back to the museum in Richmond. I can share this data with other researchers if I want to collaborate with some other specialists from across the world, and it also helps us show the public different features of the skeleton in more detail.
The most challenging recent project was a Miocene kangaroo that had been broken. So the digitisation of the original specimen means that researchers don't have to handle it as much, which is great. The item is stored safely and researchers can use the data at their desk in many countries all over the world. So that means we can preserve the object for generations to come.
The digitisation project has actually been quite exciting for me. I always say that a collection manager is exactly like a librarian, but instead of actually looking after books, we look at rocks, fossils and minerals. I've always wanted to rehouse many of our vital and valuable specimens, one of a kinds, iconic, and the digitisation project has allowed me to branch out and look at new methods to house them, not only for transportation to CT scans or micro CT scans, but to actually house them in a way that they can be manipulated within those machines and still be secure, and it's allowed me to do that.
This is the greatest part about this story, is that 99.9% of our collection is not on display. It's closed behind research doors. And that's important because we have to work on them. But of course, to get them out to the public, we need to create these amazing three-dimensional models of every single fossil we have.
In the Queensland Museum network, we have the largest collection of fossils and geological samples probably in Australia, and one of the largest in the Southern Hemisphere. And that's because we have got these extensive collections that cover the paleontology of the fossils and also minerals and general geology of Queensland. And these collections have been acquired over the last 150 years through internal collecting, but also through donations from the general public.
Telling this amazing story of ancient Queensland takes a long time, from finding the first fossils in the field all the way through to the collection and to display. And our small team of geoscience researchers, collection managers, preparators and technicians all work together as a team because each fragment has a story to tell.
I've been working as a paleontologist research assistant with the Queensland Museum for the past 9 years. So I specialise in the preparation of fossils from when they're being dug up in the field to when they're being cleaned back in the lab, and then when they're being used for research and also put on display. I've also been working with microfossils, which are from small animals like our frogs, reptiles, mammals and even fish from cave sites, and even a nearby site at Geebung, which is right here in Brisbane. And of course, I'm also contributing to works on dinosaur bones and their trackways.
Most people think paleontologists just look at a bunch of old bones. But one of our key roles here at the museum is translating all of these fossils into something that you can see and feel and touch at a museum display, somewhere in an exhibition. And the exciting thing for me is being able to teach the next generation of kids about their past, because that gives you a connection to your country.
It's about telling the story of Queensland and what sort of happened through the past and how the climate may or may not have changed and how that all ties into all the other sites that we've found across Queensland. So it's all part of one big story, but finding out those little pieces, it all brings it together.
The goal of our work is to really paint a really complex picture of what the animals and plants were like in the past in Queensland.
When you look at the past, and that's what I do every day, you see amazing things that happen. There's extinction events, there's changes in climate, the environment changes constantly. And looking at the past is the only way we can understand how our future will be. Because in the future, when new changes occur, whether it's climatic, whether it's environmental, whether we're hit by an asteroid, something like that, we need to know what are the potential ramifications. And so paleontology is that way of looking at the past, to be able to see the past and understand the future.